Hello and welcome to Take 6. I'm streaming executive producer Thomas Mage. Julie Broughton has the week off, so you are here with me today. And as I said yesterday, if you joined us yesterday, we are having a few days of special episodes, Monday through Thursday this week. We are taking a closer look at an in-depth investigative series by New 6 investigator Mike DeForest, all surrounding the Madeline Soto investigation. It has been about 6 months since Madeline Soto was first reported disappearance was first reported, and then she was ultimately found dead in the woods in Osceola County. Mike has been following this investigation since the beginning, and he's been going through all of the investigative materials that have come out in the discovery process following the arrest of Stephen Stearns, Madeline Soto's mother's boyfriend. So now we're going to bring Mike in to tee us up for today. We are looking at we're specifically taking a closer look at Madeline Soto's living conditions and the home where she lived with her mother and occasionally with Stearns as well. So, Mike, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing?
Good to be here, Thomas. Yesterday's episode, the first episode in this video series, really focused on the initial hours of the missing child investigation when police were going door to door looking for witnesses who may have seen Madeline potentially as a runaway, and they were bringing a canine out there, a bloodhound, to sniff around where she was supposedly dropped off at school under the possibility that perhaps 13-year-old Madeline had wandered off with a friend's house or was hiding somewhere. But within 24 hours of Madeline Soto's disappearance, police were beginning to get suspicious of her mother's boyfriend, Stephen Stearns. He was telling them his version of what happened, particularly about his movements the morning he allegedly dropped her off at school. But law enforcement had the ability to see license plate readers and traffic cameras that told a different story, and according to investigators, was inconsistent with Stearns's version. So they started getting a bit suspicious. And so within about 24 hours of Madeline's disappearance, police decided to cordon off the family's condo in Kissimmee so they could go in and take crime scene photographs. And so for the very first time, we're getting a look inside. Here's what we have to show you. 13-year-old Madeline Soto lived in this condominium with her mom, Jennifer.
Hey, Mom.
Her mom's boyfriend, Stephen Stearns, occasionally stayed here too. These photographs taken by crime scene investigators show the place where prosecutors say Stearns sexually molested the teen and then murdered her.
Very loving, very loving. This girl knows nothing but love here in this house. She hardly ever hears the word no. Double-edged sword that is.
The condo here at Venetian Bay Villages in Kissimmee is owned by Madeline Soto's grandfather. Court records indicate he rented out rooms in his condo to Madeline's mother, as well as at least 2 other tenants. Prosecutors believe evidence found inside that condo will help them bring justice for Madeline. When you enter the condo, the kitchen is on the left. On the right is the living room. In the living room, behind that divider wall, was Madeline's makeshift bedroom, which had a desk, a dresser, and a TV. Although there's also a bed, Jennifer Soto told detectives her daughter would not spend the night here.
She'll hang out there during the day, but she never sleeps there. She always sleeps with me, and then the rare occasion upstairs. But most of the time it's with me.
This is Jennifer Soto's bedroom, located on the first floor. Jennifer Soto told detectives she often shared the room with her daughter and her boyfriend.
A lot of times we will sleep together in the king-size bed, all 3 of us.
But Jennifer Soto says she would occasionally send her daughter upstairs to sleep in a guest bedroom with Stearns. That room has 1 bed in the corner and locks on the door. This is where Stearns reportedly spent the night with Madeline just before she was reported missing.
Is it normal for both of them to sleep in the same room? Sometimes. When I really need a good night's sleep, I will send them upstairs. 2 additional bedrooms rented out by other tenants are also upstairs. Detectives say they found nude photographs of one of those tenants on Stearns' cell phone. According to investigators, Stearns had placed his phone under the tenant's door, similar to this, and snapped images of the naked woman in her bedroom. Detectives say Stearns' phone also contained images of him sexually molesting Madeline.
According to authorities, bedding from Madeline's makeshift room downstairs can be seen in the background of those molestation videos. Detectives say this pair of men's boxer shorts found in a laundry basket in Madeline's room also appear in the sex abuse images. Crime scene investigators collected this notebook, which has sexually explicit drawings that are sketched on the same paper as algebra equations.
On Sunday night, y'all went to bed around 11, and the reason that you sent her upstairs with Stefan was because you had work in the morning, was it? Or you just started a new job?
I just started a new job, and I haven't been sleeping well.
Oh.
I take psychiatric meds every night for my bipolar disorder, and if I don't take them the right way, eat, and go to sleep on time,
They don't work.
They don't work. Sunday, I was not myself, so I asked them, like, hey, I need to be medicated, I need to sleep. Can you take care of the morning duties so I can go and sleep?
According to investigators, Jennifer Soto sent a text message to Stearns at 11:39 that read, "Make sure she goes to bed right now." About a minute later, Stearns replied, "She's built her nest and she's settling in now."
What time did you wake up? I'm going to say around 8 o'clock in the morning. Stefan came into the room.
When Jennifer Soto woke up, she says she thought Madeline might still be in the condo.
I heard noises in the kitchen, but I'm not sure,
Not sure who it was
who
exactly.
it was exactly, yeah.
Gotcha.
It could have been any of the roommates.
Jennifer Soto told detectives she never actually saw Madeline that morning and assumed Stearns was taking her to school.
I had an appointment. I had a doctor's appointment at like 10:15, but they took a while. And then by the time they did my blood work and whatever, I think I got home somewhere between 11 and 11:15.
Okay. When you got back, was Stefan here?
I'm pretty sure he was, yeah.
Sadly, by then, detectives believed Madeline was already dead. But where was she and what happened to her? Before investigators could answer those questions, they discovered Stearns took a mysterious round-trip drive to Southwest Florida early in the morning. Next on Justice for Madeline, we'll show you where detectives say Stearns went that night and what investigators think he did there.
So, Mike, that is pretty interesting stuff, that seeing the inside of the home for the first time. And, I think we can safely say these were unusual arrangements that this family was living under.
There have obviously been a lot of questions, observers of this case, and police repeatedly asking Jennifer Soto what they considered unusual, that she would allow her daughter to go to sleep with Stefan Stearns. And of course that, according to the mother, happened the night right before Madeline Soto vanished. One of the other things that we wanted to bring out in this story was it's the first time that we're able to hear the audio of Jennifer Soto, the mother, explaining the last time she says she saw Madeline alive. And in a written report just before, a written report right as she was reporting Madeline's disappearance, she wrote, "I saw Madeline getting ready for school." But it was in those interviews, those audio recorded interviews with the detectives, that the mother said, "No, I didn't actually see her. I heard her outside the condo. I thought it was her, but it may have been someone else." Based on what other evidence that law enforcement has obtained, video surveillance and stuff, they do not believe Madeline was in the apartment at the time that Jennifer there said that she heard someone in the kitchen around 8 o'clock or so.
Yeah, and if anyone has been on our website or read through the YouTube comments on the videos that we've posted for Justice for Madeline, there's a lot of questions about Jen Soto, and it is of course worth mentioning she is not facing any charges at the moment, and to your knowledge, police are not putting an investigative eye toward her.
Jennifer Soto has not been charged with any crimes. The Kissimmee Police Department, which is the lead police agency in this case, their jurisdiction is the condo where Kissimmee Police alleges that Stefan Stearns molested Madeline Soto, and it's also where Kissimmee Police alleges that Stearns murdered Madeline Soto. They are the lead agency. They say their investigation is now closed, and they do not intend to charge anyone else. We have also reached out to the state attorney's office, who actually files the charges. It's police recommend the charges. The state attorney files the charges. The state attorney will only say that at this moment, the only evidence, or they believe they only have enough evidence take to a grand jury and seek the indictment against Stephen Stearns for child molestation and murder.
Yeah, and again, that is an important distinction. This is an ongoing case, and things are still progressing, moving towards trial. So it's unclear what may happen, but at the moment, again, just to address all those questions and comments that we've seen, there is nothing pointing investigators, at least, or at least semi-police, toward Jennifer Soto. And so just to make that abundantly clear, because that is the number one question that we get in all this. So, aside from that, the as you said, the initial report was that she saw her, but then she may have heard her, and things aren't quite what they were in the initial reports. But that's not uncommon in police investigations.
People give conflicting statements, but conflicting statements are troubling to law enforcement. They were particularly troubling when it came to Stephen Stearns and him very specifically saying, I was at this place at this time. I dropped Madeline off at school at between 8:20 and 8:40 a.m. They locked him into that story, and then law enforcement, as we will explain in later episodes of this video series, they were able to obtain license plate readers and video evidence showing his car was elsewhere at the times that Stephen Stearns was saying he was dropping her off at school. But initially, it did trouble investigators that Mother Jennifer had originally said, she put this in a written report, I saw Madeline getting ready for school. But when she was actually talking to those investigators, she said, I heard her, thought Madeline was in the apartment. But again, according to investigators, based on the timeline that law enforcement has established, they do not believe Madeline was in the apartment at that time when Jennifer says she heard her around 8 a.m. In fact, investigators believe Madeline was already dead at that point.
Yeah, and that has been a big part of the timeline overall. Just when Stearns was saying he was dropping her off, when, they say that there are surveillance videos of someone in the vehicle with Stearns, they believe that may even have been Madeline's body at that point, correct?
Again, we'll have this in some of the later episodes of this, that they have surveillance video from the condo complex that law enforcement says shows Stearns coming and going with the child's body sitting in the passenger seat, slumped over and appearing to be dead then. It is always important to point out that Stephen Stearns has pleaded not guilty to all of these counts of sexual abuse, possessing child pornography, and he's pleaded not guilty to Madeline Soto's murder. And so he is currently awaiting trial. And what we're seeing now is the evidence that prosecutors have gathered, and that prosecutors are required now to hand over to Stephen Stearns' defense. In Florida, there's this belief that defendants should not be surprised at trial with the evidence that the state will be using against them, and to give them an adequate opportunity to defend themselves if they so choose. And so this is now that once prosecutors release this information to the defendants, it also becomes public information, and that's why we are just now seeing this about 6 months after the crime allegedly occurred.
Yeah, so just so everyone is aware and no one's surprised, tomorrow you will not be able to join us. You have other obligations that you need to get to, but if you could just tease ahead a little bit to what we can expect tomorrow. Tomorrow is an unusual episode in that it's looking at a mystery within the mystery, correct?
Exactly, and this was something that happened in the middle of the missing child investigation, I think it was about 48 hours after Madeline Soto had been reported missing, but before her body had been found and before law enforcement had arrested Stephen Stearns for finding what they say was child pornography and images on his cell phone of him molesting Madeline. The house was, in essence, considered a crime scene. Detectives had cordoned it off because they were taking those photographs, and that left Madeline's mother, Jennifer, and Stephen Stearns, in essence, homeless for the night. And so they went down to a hotel over Flamingo Crossings near Disney, and they were joined by Stephen Stearns' father. He came up from Northport, which is about 2.5 hours, I believe, drive southwest between Fort Myers and Sarasota. He came up to join his son, and so the three of them stayed in two separate hotel rooms over in the Disney area. And as we're going to reveal, in the middle of the night, I think it's about 4 in the morning, investigators say they have video evidence showing Stearns leaving the hotel, getting in Jennifer Soto's car, and taking this mysterious journey. Turns out he went down towards his parents' home in Northport. And so in that episode, we'll explain why investigators believe he made this 6-hour, nearly 300-mile round trip in the middle of a missing child investigation.
Yeah, and that'll be dropping on clickorlando.com tomorrow. We'll air it right here on Take 6 at 12:30 tomorrow. And, all of these will be available by Thursday. But, of course, if you cannot wait for all these to release sequentially, you can find them all right now on the clickorlando.com YouTube page. If you want to find that, you can follow this QR code right here. It will take you to Click Orlando. The playlist of all the videos are available right now at the bottom of the story of today's story. Of course, this will be available. We'll be having tomorrow's episode, the mysterious road trip, and then on Thursday we'll have the 4th episode looking at the case against Stephen Stearns that prosecutors are alleging, and all that's coming up this week. You won't want to miss any of it. This is a very fascinating look, a deep dive into this long-standing case that may go on for some time, and you've put in a lot of work yourself, Mike, and we really appreciate all the work you've done in presenting this in such a digestible and easy to understand format.
Well, and I think the reason we're doing this is because the community was so invested in this from the beginning. When Madeline Soto was still missing, there was still that potential that she was out there alive somewhere. You had the community gathering, trying to find her, trying to get information. Of course, then the community was devastated when they learned that she was found dead. And now this will be a very public trial, assuming this goes to trial. And so now we are finally seeing the evidence that the state will be using to attempt to prosecute and convict Stephen Stearns.
Yes. So we'll be looking forward to that tomorrow. And of course, if you want to, you can go to the New 6 YouTube page right now and find every single episode. There's links also on clickorlando.com. Check it out. I highly recommend it. This has been a real endeavor for Mike and his photographer, Anthony Murdoch. So, Mike, I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate all the work you put into this. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll let you go now. Have a great day.
Appreciate you. We'll catch you later. Take care.
All right. Excellent. Thank you.